Good evening. My name is Andy Crisafulli. I'm the Director of Athletics here at Joseph Case High School. And I'd like to invite and welcome building administrators, parents, and family members, student athletes, and athletic coaches to our annual Fall Athletic Awards banquet. I'd like to send a special thank you to all of our parents and guardians for your continued support of not only our school, but our athletic program. Tonight we'll be celebrating many team and individual accomplishments in what was a very successful yet interesting athletic season. The fall 2018 season was a test of grit, sacrifice, perseverance, and understanding. The season started with unprecedented heat and hot weather, driving numerous practice locations and times to be altered. As the season progressed, the never-ending rain took a toll on our game schedules and battered our playing fields, which again forced us to alter many game locations and dates. And then the season concluded with the coldest Thanksgiving the South Coast has ever experienced, with temperatures in the teens with single-digit wind chill. Throughout these obstacles, our student athletes and coaches continued to remain focused on their teams and individual goals, which resulted in 2 South Coast Conference Gold Division championships, numerous teams qualifying for the state tournament, and many impressive individual accomplishments, some of which were school record-setting events. Tonight we'll be recognizing and celebrating all of these moments and closing out an unforgettable fall season. To assist me with tonight's banquet are the many dedicated coaches that are sitting behind me who will be introduced as their sport is called to be presented. And on behalf of all of us in the athletic department, we would like to thank the following individuals. Our building principal, Mr. Brian McCann. Our building assistant principal, Chris Costa Sr. Our athletic trainer, Mr. Russell Boardman. Our Booster Club, Friends of the Cardinals, for not only organizing tonight's potluck supper, but for all the support they give our athletic program. We have a lengthy program this evening. You can follow along using the paper itinerary that I hope everyone had a chance to get on the way in at the door. And let's get started. Our first presenter this evening is our cross-country coach, Mr. Mark Fairchild.
Can I do this? Awesome. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Start a little bit of a history about the cross-country program here. So in the late 90s, it was pretty phenomenal, and then disappeared for about 10 years. About 4 years ago, Mr. Crisafulli, Mr. McCann, Mr. Costa, the administration here, kind of took it upon themselves to get this program going again. And even though there was a hiatus in it last year, which is usually a death sentence to a program when you lose that one season, Mr. Crisafulli, Mr. McCann, and the administration took upon themselves to ensure that we tried our best to get this going again. Because of that effort, to you, Mr. Crisafulli, to Mr. McCann, wherever he is, and to Mr. Costa, wherever he is, I sincerely say thank you. It would not be possible without your perseverance and commitment to ensuring that we keep trying at this amazing sport. Thank you. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Russell Boardman, as I'm sure every other one will. There's only 9 people on my team, and in the first week I had about 36 injuries, so most of them were Oliver Ferguson, but that's fine. And Russell kept them going, as he always does, and so again, thank you if he's here at all. As well, Friends of the Cardinal, thank you for everything they do. Thank you for tonight. It's a wonderful experience every time, and something I truly did appreciate. Now, on to the runners. I already called out Oliver for being the worst skater ever, apparently, but we had a few other ones as well. To Cole Rocha for being our glue guy, and future winter track star, I say thank you. To Brendan Betancourt for coming out and basically keeping Cole company at the back of the pack. The nice thing about having a small team is now we can get onto the awards as we get to the elite level here. First, to Amanda Levesque, my SEC Sportsman Award winner. Thank you for coming out. Brianna Michael hated being the only girl, and you basically saved the season for her. Beyond that, your effort was amazing. Every day, my biggest complaint about you is that you would try too hard, and my biggest fight was to ensure that you wouldn't. So, Amanda Levesque, thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Next up, my girls' coaches award winner was the aforementioned Brianna Michael for all the commitment she put in and all the ankle injuries she ran through and all the times I finally got to hear her say she actually likes winter track. That's how bad cross country can be some days. The mile is actually something to look forward to. Brianna Michael, thank you, my female coaches award winner. On to the guys' side, my SEC sportsman is Ethan Gonzalez, who worked hard and worked tirelessly every day, trying to separate himself from the next aforementioned practice hero, always committing himself to working harder and harder. And although he never got to break that 20-minute barrier, I felt like he would. And he's a man who, regrettably, is too good at basketball for me. But thank you, my SEC sportsman, Ethan Gonzalez. Congratulations, man. My boys' coaches award winner couldn't be here today because he's a baseball stud, apparently. Fifth best in the grade, they say. Jake Ponce was a man who would work tirelessly. I'm in the classroom, I'd say the same thing. What amazed me so much about him was towards the end of the year when he would stay after school every day, he would come out at 3:15 and insist upon running the workout still. So if you can imagine having to run football players, if you can imagine having to run that hill 10 times, imagine having a solid excuse to not have to do it and still coming out and being willing to. That's something that I really commend him for, and that's why he'd be my boys' coaches award winner. Last but certainly not least is Austin Michael, and for anyone who's in this building knows that he was going to win all these awards because he is an absolute stud when it comes to running. The comments I want to make about him are that Austin Michael was 3.5 minutes faster than anybody else on this team. If you can imagine running a race, running anything, and being that far superior, it's incredibly challenging. I did my best, but the honest truth is that he's probably 4 minutes faster than me. Austin Michael spent tireless amount of times on the road alone, pushing himself to be better and better and better, and that is something incredibly difficult to do. If you can imagine any sport, it's typically the person next to you who pushes you. For Austin Michael, it was him pushing himself to be great. And that's one of the most amazing things that I can say about this runner. Not child. That's terrible. That's just terrible. He's my MVP. He's an SEC All-Star. And he should have been All-States, and any other year he would have been. He's a phenomenal runner. He's a phenomenal person. He's a phenomenal captain. And I leaned on him the entire season. Austin Michael, I can sincerely say thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Coach. Our second presenter today is our cheerleading coaches, which are co-coach model, is Sarah Cavallo and Ashley Mello.
I don't know why that's always funny. Good evening, everyone. First of all, a big congratulations to all the student athletes on yet another successful fall season. We'd like to give a special thank you to Mr. McCann, Mr. Costa, Mr. Crisafoli, Mr. Geronimo in the theater department, Friends of the Cardinals, the Cardinal cheer boosters, the parents of our cheerleaders, and Mr. Boardman. We luckily haven't had to deal with Mr. Boardman much. I don't want to say deal with, that sounds bad. I'm sorry. We haven't had to work with Mr. Boardman, that's the word I was looking for, often. But this year, almost every single one of our girls went to him at least once this season, and he was awesome to work with, so easy to communicate with. So I just wanted to say thank you to him. I know he's not here, but This season was full of highs and lows for us. With the biggest cheer team Case has had yet, we knew we had our hands full and our work cut out for us. Even though we had a lot of curveballs thrown our way, we could not be more proud of how this season panned out. It was not easy picking awards for the season because each and every one of our girls strived and persevered every day. So we're just going to go right into it. Our sportsmanship award this evening goes to a girl who, no matter what, was always positive. She's always willing to cheer on her teammates and pump up the other girls when they're feeling down. She's someone for the younger girls to look up to, and we cannot wait for more seasons with her and are looking forward to working with her and her positive attitude. Congratulations, Katrina Costa. I don't know why that was so hard for me. I tried to freeform it. It didn't work.
It did not work.
And now they're gonna kick me off the mic.
Hug.
Now they're gonna kick me off the mic. So.
Thank you. Congrats. Thank you. Our first Coaches Award this evening goes to a freshman. Like many of our new girls, it's her first time ever cheering. We put a lot of pressure on her, but she rose to the occasion. She was willing to try anything we asked and was willing and eager to learn more. She has a spunky attitude and impressed us every practice with her ability and athleticism. Congratulations, Julia Wally.
Don't worry, there's two of us. You relax. He said, "Oh, you already got it." I said, "Oh yeah, you sit down." Good job.
Congrats. Our next Coaches Award goes to one of our captains. We've had the pleasure of coaching this girl since she was a freshman. She is a true leader and cares tremendously about cheerleading. She did not let anything stop her from being on the mat, and she is a real asset to the team. We are lucky to have another year with her. Congratulations, Shaylee Allerhead. You have to bark on your way off. Our final award this evening is our MVP, who goes to another freshman. We were beyond impressed with this girl's natural ability at the sport, even though she had never done it before. She tried anything and everything we asked her to. She never complained and always tried her hardest. We look forward to hopefully many more seasons with her and can't wait to watch her grow. Congratulations, Samantha Baptista.
Break my damn neck.
Thank you once again to everyone who came out tonight. Good luck to all the teams in the upcoming winter season.
Okay, before we introduce our next presenter, I'd like to remind award winners, whether you're MVP, Coaches Awards, any of the South Coast Conference, whether it's All-Star, Honorable Mention, Sportsmanship, please make sure that you stick around. Post-banquet, we'll gather in the gymnasium, and George Austin from The Spectator is here, and he'll be taking our pictures and writing a nice article for us for next Wednesday's Spectator. So please make sure you stick around. All right, our next presenter, third one of the night, is our golf coach, Dave Farrell.
Good evening. Okay. Thank you for your attendance tonight to honor all our fall athletes. Congratulations to all the fall teams on their success this year, and a number of them making the postseason. Thank you, parents, for your dedication to your student athletes and the athletic program. I would also like to thank Mr. McCann, who always makes an effort every year to come out and see the golf team play, and Mr. Costa for his support. Friends of the Cardinals, thank you for your dedication to ensure the success of our student athletes, and to Mr. Boardman, who is a very valuable asset to our athletic program. I'd also like to thank our athletic director, Mr. Chris Foley, for all his hard work, making sure that athletes and coaches' needs are met. With having such a large team this year, Mr. Christofoli also worked it out so that we could have an assistant coach for the first time. And I'm also very grateful for the indispensable work that assistant coach Jeremy Puccio did this year. Okay. As always, too, another thanks here. Very special thanks goes to Tuissic Country Club right here in Swansea. Tuissic does a great job of giving back to the community, and the ownership, staff, and members are more than patient with the athletes, and many of them this year on the team were very new to the sport. The 2018 fall season was very unique for the golf team. We boasted a roster of 28 players, the most in my 7-year coaching tenure and the most in the team's history. With 11 freshmen, 10 sophomores, 5 juniors, the future looks bright. The expectation moving forward is for everyone to play as much as possible, improve on what was accomplished this year, okay, with the goal of returning to the postseason next year. The 2018 golf team was also one of the most mentally tough teams that I've coached. After a slow start and losing some very close matches to Fairhaven, Seekonk, and Somerset, the team had to win 6 out of their 8 matches to qualify for the postseason. With some extremely tough competition in front of us, DR, Old Rochester, okay, we were able to win 5 of those matches, including beating perennial powerhouse Old Rochester. Unfortunately, we did come up 1 match short, losing in our crossover match at the end of the year. But that stated, the goal for the 2019 team is very clear, all right? And for the awards. Hey, the MIA Team Sportsmanship Award goes to Senior Cole Escobar. Cole is a 2-year player who worked his way into the starting lineup this year, playing nearly all matches. Cole exemplified this year what it means to be a Sportsmanship Award winner. Cole understood the highs and lows that come with the game of golf. Never did he lose his composure, and he always acted as a gentleman on and off the course. I'd also like to wish Cole luck moving forward and to say thank you for your dedication over the last 2 years to the team and the program. Thank you, Cole. Sophomore Ben Paquette is one of our SEC honorable mention recipients voted on by the SEC coaches. Ben is a 2-year starter and has made a strong contribution to the team over the last 2 seasons. I'm looking forward to continued growth and leadership from Ben in the next 2 years. Thank you, Ben. Okay. The first coach's award goes to Cody Bernier. Cody, known as Divots, is a 2-year player on the team, and after working his way into the starting lineup last year, he's been one of the team's top scorers. When the team does not have a scheduled match or practice, Cody can be seen at the course working on his game. This is what makes Cody a team leader. What also drives Cody most is to be able to beat his twin brother, who plays for Diamond. Cody is an SEC honorable mention recipient as well, and I'd like to thank Cody for his dedication, working to become a better player day in and day out. Not here? Okay. My second coach's award. Thank you. He's not here. Okay. My second coach's award goes to senior Casey Santea. Casey is a dedicated 4-year player on the golf team and one of this year's team leaders. Casey played a major role in defeating Diamond at Swansea Country Club, which was an extremely important match this year, making par on the ninth hole after hitting his second shot over the green. With ice water running through his veins, Casey made the putt and the match was won. All right. It has been a pleasure not only to have coached Casey, but to also have had him as a student in the classroom. I'd like to wish Casey the best of luck, and I thank him for his dedication to the golf program over the last 4 years. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, I know. The team MVP award goes to junior Zach Brown. Zach was one of the top most consistent scorers, and he represented the team in the MIAA state qualifier tournament held at Foxborough Country Club. Zach is a 3-year member of the golf team, playing in several matches as a freshman, to being a starter as a sophomore and our top scorer this past season. Zach played in the number 1 slot in all 16 matches this season and against some of the toughest competition in the SCC has to offer. Zach is voted as an SCC All-Star by the league coaches. Zach's honesty and integrity is second to none, which is why he's emerged as a team leader. On top of that, he is dedicated and always working to improve. The bar is set high for Zach next year, and I know that he is ready to accept the challenge ahead that face him and the team moving forward. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, and I just want to say good luck to all athletes as you move on to the winter season. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farrell. Before we introduce our next speaker, I'd like to take a moment with Friends of the Cardinals. Friends of the Cardinals, as I mentioned in my opening, were in charge of tonight's potluck supper and did a fantastic job. I would be remiss if I did not mention a few other things over the last 3 months that they have done in order to help give our student athletes in this building a first-class experience. They, if you guys during football, the soccer games went to get something to eat at our concession stand, you'd notice that the concession stand was remodeled, and that was all volunteer work that was arranged by Shana Madeira Silva, who was our president, and all of the members of that organization. They also just finished up with our first craft fair, which was this past Saturday, and they raised over $2,800 for our student athletes here in the building. And I think that's a fantastic start to their new rebirth here helping our student athletes. The other thing that they are taking on is the overseeing of the varsity jackets. We were cleaning up a little bit of our protocol, and I sent out an email a little bit earlier today saying that Friends of the Cardinals is accepting kids who have achieved the 6 seasons and 2 letters. They have paperwork for those individuals to fill out. It will come to me. I'll check and sign off, and we'll get those jackets ordered. So if you weren't able to check in with them in the cafeteria and fill out the necessary paperwork, I believe they're going to be in the hallway towards the end of our banquet, and I would highly encourage you, if you are of that threshold, to make sure that you check in with them, and we'll get the ball rolling with ordering your jacket. So a lot of really good things happening here, and I look forward to a great working relationship with them moving forward. All right, so moving on. Our boys soccer coach, Steve Mantega, will be our next presenter.
Good evening. I'd like to start off by thanking Mr. Christofoli, along with Principal McCann and Assistant Principal Mr. Casa, for having me back for my 5th year as coach of the boys soccer program. Thank you to the Friends of the Cardinals for all they do throughout the year, and Mr. Boardman for keeping players safe and healthy throughout the season. This was definitely another milestone season for the boys. They were able to make state tournament for the 2nd straight year, as well as secure the Cabral Cup for the 2nd year in a row. This team put in tremendous dedication and hard work throughout the off-season, and it certainly showed come day one at their first team practice. This definitely was an enjoyable group of boys. The future looks very promising as we have 7 returning starters next year, which leads me to believe that we have a great shot at finishing at top of the South Coast Conference after finishing 3rd overall this season. Moving on to the awards. Honorable Mention Award. This award is going to a senior who has been playing varsity soccer here at Case all 4 years. He was definitely one of many reasons why we secured a winning season. He stepped up this year and became a true leader and a great captain. Senior Jeremy Rocha. Second Honorable Mention Award. This award is going to possibly the top sophomore player in the SEC. He's easily a future leader of this team who excels in every position I threw him in. He's now a 2-time Honorable Mention Award winner, sophomore Colby Campos. Sportsmanship Award. This award is going to a young man who plays the game the right way. Always displayed heart and respect. He's well respected by his teammates and always puts his team first. He's a big asset to this team and could lead a defensive line for the next 2 years. Sophomore Jordan Rodrigues. Coach's Choice. First Coach's Choice Award is going to a player that I've grown a close attachment to. He truly stepped up being a big, an elite, I'm sorry, bud. He truly stepped up with carrying a good leadership role. I messed that up. What makes him a special player is not only his work ethic he puts on the field, but his continuous work he puts off the field. He's a 4-year varsity starting player and is one of the most skillful players I've coached here in the last 5 years. This season, he will lead our team in assists, and he will be truly missed. Senior Antonio Luna. They give me more hugs now than that season's over. Beautiful. My second Coach's Choice Award is going to a junior who led our program in scoring this year. I feel hands down he could be top 3 in the South Coast Conference next year. He's a threat around the net and has an incredible shot. He'll be asked to lead the team next season, and I am confident he will deliver. He's also a SEC All-Star. Junior Nicholas McMahon. MVP. This year's MVP is going to the top center back in the SEC and the heart and soul of our back line. He definitely saved his best season for his senior year. He's a 4-year starting varsity player and could play anywhere on the field. His numbers really weren't there due to the fact he spent 4 years keeping opponents' numbers off the board. He was voted easily not just by myself as an SEC All-Star, but by every other coach in the SEC. He was a big reason why we were able to shut down teams during the last 2 weeks of the season and helped us clinch a tournament spot. He's also a SEC All-Star, team captain, Ryan Nascimento. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. One other thing I didn't mention about Friends of the Cardinals, they've also, for about 15 years ago, we got away from providing certificates to all student athletes. Again, it was for a variety of different issues in the past. Something that we talked about with Friends of the Cardinals, we wanted to bring that back. So one of the initiatives was to start the process of getting those certificates printed. They're donated by Friends of the Cardinals, and every single participant, whether they're a varsity Leonard winner or a sub-varsity player, will walk away with a Case High School athletic certificate for participation. So we appreciate that also. Okay, our next presenter is our girls soccer coach, Bob Mitchell.
Thank you, Cardinal Nation. All right. Right off the bat, I want to thank Russ Boardman, Friends of the Cardinals. I was at the craft fair. I won the money tree and left with 36 tax-free dollars. It was awesome. Of course, the Santerre organization, and my assistant coach and very good friend, Kevin Lawton. Someone else I'd like to thank for everything he does behind the scenes is Mr. Christofoli. You'll never see another AD working the sidelines at soccer, and we're really short bringing his son to do it as well. And football, when you were celebrating all your victories in the locker room and then deciding, who's going to Chili's, he was out on the field picking up all the yard markers, closing down the press box, and doing everything else. So there's a lot of things he does that people don't notice, so let's give it up for him. I've coached one sport or another for a couple decades now, and this group of parents are the best group of people I've ever been around. They're the most appreciative people. If the MIA ever did a training on parent or fan conduct, they should just invite all of your parents there. There's times they're waiting off the field, and I think it's nice for them to wait for their kids to say good game. They're waiting for me. They wait by the bus, they stop me in the parking lot, and that's when we lose. You should see them when they win. So I really appreciate you, and I see so much of that in your kids, and I'd like to take credit for it. It's all you do. Clap for your parents. We started the season with more questions than answers, and during the season, I was so proud of how they figured it out. I don't have any freshmen coming up for awards tonight, but I have to mention Tori Betancourt and Abby Soroy, the future of our team. They each played over 1,300 minutes of varsity action. Do the math. You could be a 4-year starter in basketball, and you're not going to play the minutes they played as freshmen. You're the future of the team, and I thank you very much. The one thing, I'll say a lot of things tonight. The one thing I want you to remember, you could never count this team out. Sometimes I worried they weren't intense. They were just relaxed. The second half, we'd be dead. We played 40 minutes with one timeout in the first half, and as they limped and went out to the second half exhausted, no subs coming for them. They played their hearts out, and somehow we were a second half team. I'll never figure it out. The other thing I was so impressed by these girls, the girls on the bench, how they accepted their roles. Depending on our matchup, they might play a few minutes, and the next game I might ask them to play all 80, and they'd be on the bench, so supportive of the teammates. You girls know who you are, and I appreciate you so much. Against schools our size, I'll go for it. We were 5-4-1, and we went to another tournament. Against some of the best teams, DR went to the quarter semifinals. We were down 3-0 at half, and it's tough to know what to say to your kids. I didn't say much. They came back, scored 2 goals, and we nearly pulled it off. Seekonk had us 3-1 with 8 minutes to go, and I was thinking that'd be a good result for us if we can just hold on and not give up a goal late in the game. Instead, they scored 2 late goals, and we tied 3-3. And I want to wish the seniors, Holly Paquette and Jenna Zhang, just the best of luck, and thank you for everything you did for the program. Yeah, go for it. All right, now for the awards. The first two young ladies, unfortunately, couldn't be here tonight. It's Kate Oliveira and Julie Heaton. Kate Oliveira is SEC honorable mention. She snuck into the top 10 scoring in the league late in the season. She plays with an edge, with an attitude, and every coach needs that. She loves the game of soccer as much as anyone I've ever met. And for years to come, we'll talk about her performance in the Cabral Cup. Somerset's much deeper than us, many more players, much more talent. They eked out a victory with just a few minutes to go, and it's really because just the unparalleled character and heart that she showed. And as long as I coach before the Cabral Cup, I'll talk about that game. Julie Heaton, 7 of the 8 coaches picked her for an All-Star. The talk around the table, she's so SEC All-Star, not honorable mention. They said she was the most technically sound keeper in the conference. She was a vocal leader. You started the season off. I said we had questions. If you make 10 saves in soccer, that's a lot. You're busy. She made 24 saves in the first game of the year. We tied 1-1, and then we knew we were going to be okay. If you ask how many goals were her fault, I would say pretty much none of them. She would say every one, and that's why she's good. She's also a Fall River Herald nominee. Now to other awards. I'm going to put these two people together too. Megan Borges and Ariel, they're great to coach. They're only a problem right tonight because I can never decide what award to get them. They're always going to leave with an award. They could get multiple awards. And my favorite thing is, if I said, can you give up your award so I can give one to Tori or Abby, they would have done it in a second. So that was my biggest dilemma. Megan Borges, she's a shutdown defender. Her athleticism, you have to watch, it's off the charts. She can bring the ball upfield. She had 5 assists. She's a shutdown defender. She's just one of the most reliable players. Without her, we don't win at all. The only game she wasn't a factor in was New Bedford Vogue, because early in the first half, they just decided we can't go to her side. It's not worth it. So she spent most of the game, the rest of the game bored. She was a captain. She filled in a captain even as a sophomore. As a junior, she was one of our 3 captains. She is a Fall River Herald All-Star nominee, and she's an SEC honorable mention. Come on up, Megan. She's much faster on the field. Congratulations. Ariel, like Megan, filled in as a captain last year as a sophomore and was one of our 3 captains. I think she likes soccer, but I know she loves Case soccer. She puts Case soccer first. She's the team organizer and the communicator. Big question we had, who's going to replace Autumn Medeiros at sweeper? We didn't know if we had anyone with that experience, just with that speed, and who had the ability to organize the defense. Those 3 questions, she quickly answered yes, we do. We had Ariel. She's always positive, you can count on. Even if we're having a rough showing at halftime, she'll come up saying, I think we should be positive right now. I think it'll help the girls. She's one of the most coachable players they can have on that team or any team. So come on. And the girls, she get a coach's award. That sounds like what I'm setting up. But I think most of the girls want to get the sportsmanship award. And the sportsmanship award is a conference level award. So that's why you're coming up for this one. Come on up, Ariel. As we move on, I take pride in girls who appreciate awards but don't mind if other people get them. I think it's a good night, but I think this is be happy for your teammate award night because most of you won't get awards. So I really appreciate the positivity of the team and its reflection of what you did all year. The coaches awards now. The first one, and I said this last year actually about Megan, is some switch from offense to defense. We just weren't okay at defense, and we weren't going to be okay for the season. And someone just really quickly, instead of being talked into it, said, I'll just play defense. Problem solved. Plays when she's not 100%. And sometimes it's stubbornly so. So you have to watch her. And she doesn't fake injury, she fakes healthy. She says insightful things at halftime. She reads the game really well. I used to say, stay back, don't come up too forward. And then I said, just figure it out yourself. Because she reads the game very well. There's games she played well, and then there's sometimes where we're in trouble and she pushed up and her play was inspiration to the rest of us. Come on up, Gabby. The next coach's award, I'd say this girl never came off the field. She never asked for a sub, but had appendicitis. Definitely took her off the field. She came back from it. The next game, she played 80 minutes. That defines toughness. She was new to the sport as a sophomore. This year, she played like a senior. There'd be times we'd be under duress, and like, just someone clear the ball out of there, and she'd come up and just clear it to the side. And it looked very nonchalant, but it wasn't. She was very calm, and she showed a lot of composure, and she quietly did her job. And I think she's had more of an impact in this program than she realizes. I expect it to be very loud right now. Jenna Zane, come on up. All right, Jen. The next person coming up is Team MVP. I'm afraid, too many awards. I'm afraid I'll miss one. SEC All-Star, and it's the first All-State player that I've coached. It was the Eastern Mass Conference. She was able to play an All-Star game there. They picked like 100 kids for these two games, and I thought 100 kids might be a little watered down. There were 33 Division I players that are committed to D1 playing that day, and I should never doubt her, but I said, now that I got in her, I was a little nervous, could she hang? She played well and scored the winning goal. For SEC, there were 10 coaches voting. 8 were there, 2 called it in. 10 coaches. Someone guess how many votes she got. Go ahead, yell it out. 10. Nope. 0. They didn't even vote. They just put her name on the board. That's true. She was second in league MVP voting. That sounds good. Only 2 people received votes. This award defines, maybe not award, defines it more than awards do. The girl who won is a Division I, is going D1 in 2 years. College is already looking for her in 2 sports. So she's getting D1 offers in 2 different sports, and she was not a unanimous selection. Meredith got a few votes. My first year coaching, we couldn't get anyone. No one scored 10 goals. As a sophomore, Meredith kind of raised the bar and scored 13. This year, counting one in the All-Star game, she scored 25. 1 goal was weak against Fairham. I think it was Wareham, and I remember that goal because the other 24 were all unbelievable, and it's impossible to remember them all. I have a list down of a lot of nice things she did, but she does a lot of nice things behind the scenes, and I almost think it diminishes to bring it up, but I just want to know I noticed her tremendous acts of kindness. I think I coach in track. I think this is the 5th consecutive season I'm giving her an MVP award. Think about who else has done that, maybe nobody. But I've run out of things to say about her. You think I'm done. I have a list I'm going to read from. These are from coaches, referee, game administrator, and also from a couple people that have never seen her play soccer. She's the real deal. She should play in college. She's a stud. She's the most dominant case athlete I've ever seen. She's so humble. She's a pleasure to coach. That wasn't me, that was Steve. She's a great kid. She's so nice. She's so valuable to the team. She's crazy good. So proud of her. She's everything an MVP is supposed to be. She's tough. She's a straight-up beast. She's a goalie's nightmare. She's the best college prospect on the field. And someone reminded me, and I shouldn't have to be reminded, you're lucky to have her in your life. Come on up, Meredith. Congratulations to all the other fall sports, and for everyone doing a winter sport, good luck. If you're not doing one, we're still taking people for indoor track.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Okay, before our next guest comes up, please make sure that post banquet, you make sure that you check in with the varsity head coaches. If you were a letter winner, you're going to win. You're going to be given a pin and a varsity letter. We're actually going to be going through a transition over the next year and a half, introducing our new varsity letter. We already started putting the new varsity letter on our new Letterman jackets. Next year, we'll make the total flip into introducing the new varsity letter for all student athletes. That will start in the fall of 2019. So please make sure that you check in with your coach. The only thing that the coaches will not have, because they are in my office, there was one thing that I forgot to put in their envelopes, are the captain pins. So post-banquet, I'll have to run and grab them, and hopefully we can meet up in the gymnasium and present those to the captains. Okay, so our next presenter is our field hockey coach, Casey Martell.
On behalf of the field hockey program, we'd like to thank Mr. Christofoli, Mr. McCann, and Mr. Costa for supporting us at the high school level, as well as Mr. Silvera, Mr. Robidoux, and Ms. White for supporting the program and allowing us to continue to have our junior high waiver. We'd like to thank the Friends of the Cardinals for your support, and a big thank you to our athletic trainer, Mr. Russell Boardman, who works tirelessly all season. We'd also like to thank all of our athletes' parents for supporting the girls and traveling near and far to attend the games. With the high number of athletes that came out for the program this year, we were able to field a JV team for the first time in at least 4 years. Along with having a JV program, we'd able to have a JV coach. I honestly had no idea what I was missing until this year. Having someone to bounce ideas off of, help change up a practice plan, give me a quick pep talk when needed, and just not being alone in every decision you make makes a world of a difference. And I truly believe a lot of our success is due to having her by my side. Tammy Green, also known as Dr. Coach, thank you for joining this program the second I asked you to, for making me laugh every day at practice, for being so organized it's intimidating, for making it count every day, and for taking those young student athletes and turning them into field hockey players in just a few short months. So coming into 2018, I was super optimistic. We had 17 returning varsity players. That's the first time in my coaching career here at Case that we could field a whole varsity team with returning players. All of these athletes had at least 1 year of high school field hockey under their belt, and with that, we were already 5 steps ahead of any other season. Along with our varsity players, we also had 13 athletes on the JV team, which is such a huge boost for our program. We started off the season great. I remember George Austin from The Spectator was at our 3rd game. He asked me what our record was, and I told him 2-0-1, and he replies, "Oh great, so you're undefeated." For our program, that was huge. And with that momentum, we just took off, and we played some great field hockey. We were in every game we played. We scored multiple goals in many games, and we even, when you look at our losses, we had games where we lost by 1 goal. In those losses were 2 games of 1-0 scores against teams from large schools who have beaten us pretty bad in the past. All season long, this team received countless praise from refs and opposing coaches with how well they are playing and how far they have come. They worked hard all season long, every practice, every game. And that hard work paid off on October 22nd in Fairhaven, where we won 3-1 and became the SEC Gold Division champions. That accomplishment alone, oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. That accomplishment alone was so very exciting, but it also gave us our ticket to the state tournament for the first time in 6 years. Making it to the tournament was our biggest goal of the season, and these student athletes did it. Unfortunately, we came up short by 1 goal, losing to Carver 2-3 with 5 minutes left in regulation. but it was an experience to remember. I could not be more proud of these student athletes for their hard work, perseverance, and dedication to the program. It's an honor to be their coach. On to our awards. Our first SEC honorable mention goes to a senior and two-year varsity player. This player had 3 goals and 1 assist this season. She's super quick, very aggressive on the field, and always gives 110%. She comes to practice prepared and ready to work. She's very kind and shows great respect for her teammates and coaches. She's a valuable part of this team and a positive role model on and off the field for younger players to look up to. The SEC honorable mention goes to Courtney Jacobson. Our second SEC honorable mention goes to a junior and two-year varsity player in the goalie position. This athlete has been a key piece in our success this year. She's always asking how to better her game, and she works hard each day. She had 4 shutouts along with 2 games that ended in a 0-0 tie. She had an 84% goalie save percentage with 181 saves. She's a great teammate, shows great sportsmanship, and I'm happy to announce that this award goes to Aubrey Carpenter. All right, our next award goes to a young lady who started this Case field hockey journey with me 4 years ago. She's a 4-year varsity starter and 2-year captain. She's an all-around great player who has helped in every line on the field, from forward, mid, and backfield. She shines at center mid, being able to move the ball both offensively and defensively. She has 2 assists this season and is a huge part of our success. She's dedicated to the sport and takes time to help and assist the younger players. She always has constructive feedback during our team chats and is a positive teammate. She's a role model on and off the field and someone the team can look up to. The SEC All-Star Award goes to Gabby Bello. This next person's receiving 2 awards. This player is a junior and 3-year varsity starter. She's our leading scorer for the 3rd year in a row. Although she was out for almost half the season due to 2 separate injuries, she scored 15 goals and had 1 assist. If it wasn't for those injuries, those stats would have easily been doubled. She's a force in front of the net. She had 5 games of multiple goals scored, her last one being in the first round of the state tournament. She has great stick handling skills and an awesome eye on how to get the ball in the back of the net. She was easily double-teamed from most of our games and was able to adjust each time. She's a huge part of our success this season. She's also one of our co-captains and really stepped up in taking on that role. She was very positive at practice and helped bring up the intensity when needed. She's very knowledgeable about the game and shared that knowledge with her teammates. During team chat, she would always have valuable things to say and constructive feedback. With that being said, our team MVP and SEC All-Star goes to Elizabeth LePage. My first coach's award goes to a junior second-year player who isn't here this evening. She showed significant improvement in her game in the last year. She came to every practice ready to work and better her play. She was flexible in her positioning and would usually be on the left side of the field, but if called upon, would play anywhere on the forward and midline. She really impressed me with her dedications and skills, and she had 2 goals and 4 assists this season. My first coach's award goes to Mackenzie DeSimus. My second coach's award goes to a junior three-year player and co-captain. Unfortunately, due to injury in preseason, she was out for more than half the season. That didn't stop her from being at every practice, being involved in every aspect of our games, and always knowing what to say and when to say it during game talks. She would always take the lead on organizing and ordering gear for the team. She frequently would be the last one out of the locker room on away games to make sure everyone was accounted for. Once she finally got back into the game, she gave 110%. She's always looking to better her game and welcomes constructive criticism, takes it in, and shows it on the field. The younger athletes in the program look up to her and find her to be very welcoming and approachable. My second coach's award goes to Sydney Hayter. You have that, right? Yeah. Thank you. The SEC Sportsmanship Award. This award goes to a student athlete who is always so kind and friendly to everyone. She always comes to practice with a big smile on her face and is always ready to work. She really improved her game over the last year and displayed that growth in her skills. I spent a lot of time complimenting our defense this year. Oh, I lost my place. Because they did an amazing job, and she was part of that. She played in the sweeper position all season and was a force back there. Many players on the team have told me that she is very approachable and very welcoming. She shows respect to all her teammates, coaches, and opposing teams. She brings happiness and fun to the game, and for that, the SEC Sportsmanship Award goes to Samantha Mello. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Okay, next presenter is actually going to be pinch hitting tonight. As many of you know, our coach for volleyball, Miss Michaela Gonzalez, just had a baby girl last week. So we have a pinch hitter for tonight, and it'll be our JV coach, our assistant coach, Taylor Travis.
Oh gosh. Good evening. Coach G could not be with us tonight, but she sends her best and has written a speech that she asked me to read for you tonight. First of all, we would like to thank Mr. McCann, Mr. Costa, Mr. Crisafulli, and the Friends of the Cardinals for all their support this season and making all that we do possible. Congratulations to all the other sports teams for great seasons, for your support of our team by being at games, and for keeping Case Pride alive. A big thank you to Mr. Boardman for his care for our student athletes. Thank you to the parents of the student athletes in our program for their support and instilling in their children the values necessary to be part of such a big family with a rich tradition. A really big thank you to the coaching staff who put in so much time and energy in helping these players develop as not only players but as people. A special thank you to our 2 volunteer coaches who are also working college students who sacrifice so much to be at all of our games and as many practices as they could be at. It is really a big operation with lots of moving parts, and we are truly grateful for everyone's contribution to making everything run as smoothly as possible. Thank you to every player in the program for making an intricate part in the big picture that is Case volleyball. Every player accepted their role, and it made for a very successful season at both JV and varsity levels. JV ended their season 17-2 and improved tremendously over the course of the season, beating Apponequet in the crossover game after having been beaten by them in the regular season. Thank you for a great season. Varsity ended its regular season 13-7 with highlights including a 5-set match with Division I South finalist New Bedford and a 3-set win versus Division II South champion Duxbury. The team advanced to the South Finals after 3 consecutive postseason victories, where we eventually lost to Bourne, who went on to become state champions. The team was comprised of 8 four-year seniors who showed such dedication and passion for our team over the courses of their careers. From being role model students to leading in the weight room all summer, these 8 seniors have really influenced the legacy of this program. They will truly be missed. To every player who woke up early all summer to work out and sacrificed with their jobs, thank you. Your commitment to something larger than yourself will go much further than volleyball. Again, every player plays an intricate role in the big picture. So for the kids who really embraced that responsibility and took accountability for being the best they could be every day, thank you. Now for some awards. Our Team Sportsmanship Award goes to an individual who embraced her role throughout the course of the season and never compromised her dedication and love for the team. She was consistently a hardworking player, always positive and involved in trying to problem solve and help team matters. She was one of the most excited players when the team was doing well and one of the most composed and helpful players to turn to when things were not. Her uncompromised love for the team is what earned her this award tonight. Congratulations, Jamie Travis. Our next recipient of awards is getting an SCC honorable mention and a coach's award. This player never gave less than 100% of herself every day. She was a problem solver, a risk taker, and someone who understood how to reflect and learn from mistakes. Her scrappiness made her one of the best all-around players in the area because she played with a refuse to let the ball hit the floor attitude. She was always there for the team and always thought ahead and went above and beyond to do all the little things that help a team function properly. Congratulations to Rachel Davidson. The next player receiving awards is receiving an SCC All-Star and a D3 All-State Player Award. This player embodies what you want in an athlete: competitiveness, heart, and the ability to motivate others in a humble and caring way. She was not only the backbone of our defense, but the backbone of keeping our team morale up, with her singing in between points and celebrating for other successes, as if she had just won the Powerball. Congratulations, Madison Medeiros. The next player receiving awards is an SCC Honorable Mention Award winner, a Boston Herald All-Scholastic, and a D3 All-State player. She models compassion and care for her teammates, and her skills offensively and defensively helped our team secure many victories. She led our team in kills and has such a natural way of playing, but she will truly be remembered for the teammate she was, encouraging others without reservation. She showed her passion and love for the game in many ways and could always bring her teammates up with her composed nature. Congratulations to Michaela Bushell. Our next award recipient is receiving our second Coach's Award. This player is one of the most humble and hardworking players to come through our program. She was always mentally and physically engaged in practices and games, whether the focus was on her or not, or if she was playing or not. This player always made sure she was doing the right thing. She was amazing at taking constructive criticism by being positive and working to fix things right away with a great attitude. She desired to be better every day by putting in all that she had at every moment. She led by example by being a genuinely good person and player who her teammates knew always had their backs. Congratulations to Allie Fieldhauer. Our last award winner is an SCC All-Star, a D3 All-State player, and our MVP. This player's advanced game sense helped our team excel. Her skills offensively, defensively, and at the service line helped to create a great foundation for our team. In practice, this player was always focused on making herself and the team better, never letting one rep be a wasteful one, giving 100% all the time. She is extremely coachable and works to fix mistakes quickly by learning from them and changing things to acquire a different result. Congratulations to Nia Young. We'd just like to thank you again to everyone who played a part in this successful season, and best of luck to our 8 seniors, Maddie, Tegan, Michaela, Kristen, Allie, Jamie, Rachel, and Naya, and thank you for all of your commitment over the last 4 years.
Okay, before we bring our last presenter up, just a friendly reminder, all award winners, please make sure you go to the gymnasium after the banquet is concluded for pictures. We will do our best to organize everything pretty efficiently and get you in and out. And please make sure you check in with your coaches for varsity letters and pins. Now, our last presenter for football, there's going to be a lot of moving parts with these presentations, so bear with us as we progress through them. But our football coach, Anthony Palladino, will be our next presenter.
Thank you. Good evening. First off, I'd like to thank Mr. McCann, Mr. Costa, Mr. Crisafulli for all their support, Mr. Boardman for who I have to meet with daily about all of you in the front row. I appreciate all the support that he's given us on a daily basis and helping us get ready for games. I'd also like to thank the Gridiron Club and Friends of the Cardinals supporting our student athletes. From a football standpoint, I'd like to thank my staff. I know that I'm not the easiest person to work for. I am quite demanding at times, and I ask them to give a lot of their hours and personal time. So I'd like to thank Jason Agile, Matt Lockwood, Grant Hayter, Todd Netto, Jordan Kohler, Officer Martin, and my father, Al Palladino. I'd also like to thank Julie Gorell, who this year kind of stepped up to the plate and helped me with relaying messages to the parents, sometimes on a daily basis, and really helped with that aspect of things. We finished the year 7-4. It was the most wins here since 1998. That resulted in the South Coast Conference Gold Championship, and although that didn't end, the season didn't end the way we wanted it to, we continue to move forward and move along and get better and try to create the South Coast powerhouse that I want it to be. So I want, even though we didn't end on a high note, I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for the group of guys that I get to coach. A lot of the other small schools in the conference are complaining every single meeting we have about numbers. They're down to 20 and 25. And I don't complain because I got 45 kids who will show up every single day, work, and they work 365 to get better in a sport where numbers are decreasing. I got a group of kids who I'm proud to show up and coach every day, so I thank you guys for that. Before we get into the awards, obviously, like some other coaches have said, there's a lot of people we'd like to give awards to, and there's just not enough. But 2 seniors that I want to point out before we get to the awards, I want to give a special shout out to Logan Sharap. Logan came out to play football after I'd been hounding him in baseball season every time, just every practice hounded him. Actually came out for the team, and I think he was glad he did. He was a big part of what we do on offense and defense, and I'd like to thank you, Logan, for coming out and giving us a shot. I'd also like to give a little shout out to Hunter Q. Press, and Hunter's a kid who didn't get a lot of playing time, but one thing in a day and age where a lot of kids, when things don't go their way or they're not given instant reward, they quit and walk away. And since August till Thanksgiving, Hunter showed up every single day and did everything he could to help us win. And that's a skill that's going to help you more in life than you know. Thank you for doing that. Our first award is going to go to somebody who wasn't able to be with us today. He was a South Coast Conference All-Star. He was also named the Lineman of the Year this year, Noah Casado. He wasn't able to join us tonight. Our next award is a South Coast Conference All-Star. This junior stepped up in a big way this year, becoming our quarterback for the first time as a junior. Was a big player for us on both sides of the ball. I'm going to regret saying these words right now because I'm going to have to hear about it for the next 2 years. He's one of the smarter football players I've ever had to coach, which also what gets him in trouble 90% of the time. But it's something we're going to continue to work on. Excited to see what this kid does from a leadership standpoint going forward. South Coast Conference All-Star, Daniel Silva. Our next South Coast Conference All-Star goes to a four-year starter for us. He was a captain for us. He's been the heart and soul of our defense for the last few seasons. On offense, he's a workhorse. He just shows up and goes to work, and he takes a beating sometimes. And I give him a hard time a lot, but he shows up every day and he's willing to work, and he's been a big leader for us, and I'd just like to see what he's done and what he's going to do when he starts playing football at the next level. South Coast Conference All-Star, Ty Kudo. Our next is a South Coast Conference honorable mention. This player was a captain for us, been a multiple-year starter for us. My best thing about Isaac Tucker is watched him grow over these last 4 years. He came in as a freshman, never played football before, weighed 155 pounds maybe. He worked hard. I told him to stop going on his skateboard. He's not Tony Hawk. That's not going to work out. But he showed up every day. He was a big lead. He was a big leader for us in the off season. He's a kid on the field you can rely on. South Coast Conference honorable mention, Isaac Tucker. Our next award is our South Coast Conference Sportsmanship Award. This is a junior for us. He's been a 2-year player for us, and he'll be a big part of what we do going forward. My best thing about this kid is that when I think of him, he's tough. He's taken a couple of injuries this year, and he just keeps going. He doesn't complain. He just shows up every day. He's kind of a throwback kid. He's a tough kid. He does everything the right way, and that's an important part of what we're trying to teach. Sportsmanship Award is Ryan Martin. Our next award is a South Coast Conference honorable mention and a Coach's Award winner. Once again, this kid's been a 2-year player for us. He started playing football, I believe his first year was in the 8th grade. He's a kid who's really taken pride in the weight room and gotten stronger. I'd like him to get taller, but that's out of his control. He's a kid who shows up every day. He's hardworking. Once again, he's a tough kid. He plays, and I challenge him a lot publicly during film. The guys will tell you that I kind of don't hold any punches, and there's been games where I've challenged him. Game comes to mind against the week before we played Willis. My college roommates from Millis. One of the coaches told me on Millis that they were going to run at him. They thought he was the weakest part. I immediately called him on the phone to tell him that. And he played a heck of a game. We didn't come out on top that day, but it wasn't because of him. He played his butt off. Coach's Award winner and South Coast Conference honorable mention, John Garrell. Our next award is our last Coach's Award. This goes to another junior who's a big part of our team. I probably asked too much of him, to be honest. He played multiple positions on defense. He played multiple positions on offense. And in a point in time where our quarterback got hurt, and we were trying to find out different ways how we were going to play against Millis, and we didn't know if we could ask the kid to pretty much start taking reps at the most important position on the field that he hadn't done really in a couple years. And I get nervous and I go ask him, hey, do you want to do this? And he just looks at me and goes, okay, yeah, no problem. His calming ability just to step up and just kind of be an athlete and be a guy who doesn't ask questions and just does what he's coached to do. Once again, today's day and age is hard to find. He does a great job for us, and that's Clayton Dyer.
This time I'd like to welcome to the stage Mr. Alan Fenley, who is here to represent Swansea American Legion Post 303. He is going to be presenting our football Legion Post 303 MVP award. He was an award winner. He won this award back a couple years ago, and he has volunteered to come here to present this award.
So our last award is our MVP award. This person is also a South Coast Conference All-Star. He is also, as I'm telling him now for the first time, he is also being nominated for the Otto Graham Award. He's also was nominated to play in the Shriners game, which comes up in June. This player for us had an injury earlier in the year. Didn't let on how much it affected him. He came back as soon as he could. And every time he touched the ball, he was a threat to score. He was the focal point of every single team we played's defensive game plan. He still accounted for 14 touchdowns this year, receiving and rushing. And a stat to me, as I was nominating him for the Otto Graham the other day, a stat that kind of jumped off the page to me in high school football is very quarterback-driven. And for all intents and purposes, maybe besides lining up there a couple times, he never played quarterback. Yet in his 4 years here, he accounted for over 4,100 yards and 42 touchdowns on 388 touches, which means every time he touched the ball in his high school career, he averaged a first down, over 10 yards a touch in 4 years, which is a crazy stat for a non-quarterback. Our MVP, one of our leaders, Chris Costa.
Congratulations. I think you can hang on to this thing. Thank you.
Okay. Again, a friendly reminder, please make sure award winners report to the gymnasium. As I mentioned earlier in the program, we have certificates for each and every participant, along with varsity letters and pins. Again, I'd like to thank parents and guardians and fans of our athletic program for attending tonight. This has been a fantastic turnout, and I wish you the best moving forward and wish you happy holidays. Thank you very much, and drive home safely.